Hello folks and welcome back. If you watched the last video you'll see that I put some beans, some runners and French beans for pre-treating on damp towel. Well, I've just come in here to just check see if they need a drop of water, and I was most surprised. Just in the space of 4 days you can see the runner beans have actually got some really good shoots on, so they'll be ready for putting out into some root trainers or something. But looking over here, the French beans, they've gone even more erratic. And say, in the space of 4 days, I'm just amazed at how well they've done. I'm going to be planting the beans, both the runners and the French beans, in the root trainers I've got. This is a 32 cell book. And I find, for the size of the runner beans especially, this marker pen is a great little dibber. Just go down about 40 millimeters, and then I've already started doing some actually. You can find the little tail sticking out. Wait a minute there. Just pop it in the hole. It's as good as that. Hello folks and welcome back to a bank holiday Monday. Weather forecast was supposed to be really warm today, 18 plus degrees, and instead it's been freezing cold, lots of rain showers, and we just got a nice break. Saying that, there is a blue sky over yonder, but we'll just have to wait and see. What I've been doing this morning, I've planted some lettuce out into the gaps and also into the elephant garlic bed. But I've harvested what lettuce was left in here now. I've added a bit of blood fish and bone, also some Vitax Q4. I'm going to mix that in and then sow a few rows of radish. I've added a bit more bathgate just to top it up to the rim. If you have got these raised beds or planters, it is best to try and top them right up to the rim so that you maximise the depth of planting. So quite often you see people with so-called raised beds, and all it is a surround with the soil level, probably up to 6 or 8 inches below, and all that does is act as a windbreak. Just been treated to another horrendous downpour. I raced for cover and forgot to take the seeds, and I'm soaking wet, but not to mind. Anyway, I'm going to put a piece of wood down and do a couple of drills and just broadcast the seeds in there. That's 2 rows of radish in. We've got a couple of little row markers there. In this space here, I'm going to probably put beetroot, and I've got some in modular cell trays in the greenhouse on the allotment, but needed probably a couple more days before I pop them out. Doing that job of potting the beans on got me thinking that I need to get the bean bed into shape. So later this afternoon I've just put these 2 posts on. These are old washing line posts. I've sunk them into the ground, rammed them in with gravel as hard as I can, and they're quite firm. I just popped a little level on, and as you can see, that's nice and flush. The only other job now, I'll probably fix a permanent barg running across the top, and then I can fix the upright canes in ready to hold the beans. Well, good morning. You join me on a beautiful May morning. Sun shining, not a cloud in the sky, an ideal time to make an attempt on planting out all of the brassicas. All the beds are ready, just got to remove the covers, and the plants I'm in here bursting to come out. So first of all, I'm going to remove them and put them in the different categories. I think I may have just caught these in time. As you can see, them starting to go a little bit on the leggy side, but I'm very, very happy how nice and bushy they are. So I'm just going to say sort them out into different categories: cauliflowers, cabbage, Brussels sprouts and that, and then it'll make planting out much easier. Right, I have sorted them out now. Might seem a bit of an hassle to start with, but it's worth it in the end, because first of all, know what stock you've got being so many plants. I'll just quickly run through you what we got here. These lot here are cabbage. There's a lone one here, number 20. That's called a Dutchman. I didn't have very good germination on that, did I? 23, we've got one called Killerton. There's a 24 called Golden Acre. And there's one there, 22, and that one's Killer Store. That's another one of the club root resistant. Then moving along to these are the cauliflowers. 28, we got Clapton. It's a really good crop of that one is. There's a 27, which is called Zaragoza, and this one here is 26, and that one's called Sapporo. Onto this one here. These are the Brussels sprouts, and them are called Crispus. Moving along to this one here, number 30, we've got Calabrese, and that's the Iron Man. And bringing up the end, we've got the bit of Swede, and that's called Tweed F1. Right, all them are ready to go now, so start getting the covers off the beds. Covering the beds has really paid dividends. As you can see, there's no weeds in at all, and so 2 or 3 weeks ago I actually give this a dressing of the polka to actually deter the club root. That's gone in, and all I need to do just tittle the surface, and I'll probably give it the traditional gardener's dance to firmly ready to receive the brassicas. So I'm going to finish the other beds there, do the same with that, and will come back to me when I start planting out. Morning. As you probably gathered, things didn't go quite to plan as we'd forecast yesterday. Just after filming the last clip, I got called out and I had to attend to a few things, so nothing else was done on the allotment that day. But a shame really, because we had a glorious day, sunshine. But not to worry, don't look too bad today, although there is a little bit of rain forecast. So I'm going to crack on. One thing I did do after filming yesterday was I'll give this a soaking with the super soil with the watering can, and that's soaked in nicely. Although there's a few scrapes and that, it looks like the fox has been digging during the night. So it's no time to hang about. I'm going to level this back off again and start putting the brassicas in. Usually these beds are divided into 3, and I usually have my cabbages, collies and the calabrese, the broccoli down, and right along the back row I always have a strip of sprouts, and that's going to be no different. So let's crack on. Right, we've got 15 holes for the Brussels sprouts and 17 plants, so that gives us a couple spare. Now normally when I'm planting out brassicas, I have a fistful of lime around the planting hole just to give a bit of extra deterrent against the club root. However, I mentioned previously that I've added polka onto here, which I've used previously together with lime, but since I've put the super soil and all, I'm going to try and go without the lime, because I don't know what effect that'll have, if any, and it'll also see how good the Perlka is on its own. So I'm going to start planting. So we have a plant against each planting hole. I like to do this particularly when we've got surplus plants, because it does then let you identify any plants which maybe look a bit weak, and you can easily then pick the best out of the pack. So that's all there is to it. All that's left now is to pop each plant into the hole, give it a good firming in, and then a final water. And all the other brassicas on here will be done exactly the same. So rather than bore you with that, I'll bring you back when we're fully planted out. That is, unless we get any unplanned interruptions. If you'd like to have a look how I grow brassicas from a seed to a harvest, I've got a video here, and I'll put a link down below in the show notes. Go and take a look at that. See you in a minute. I'll just quickly show you the strawberry bed. We've got some lovely fruits appearing on there now, so I think it's time to do a bit of weeding. There's some stray brambles and that here and there, but the main culprit is this dandelion, which is sucking all the nutrients out of the soil. So that's the first one on the list to go. Well, that looks a lot neater now. We've got all the rubbish out, the weeds, the actual suckers, and the dandelions, of course. What I'm going to do now is give these a good drink of comfrey, and that should set them off, because there's plenty of flowers on, and hopefully build up some good fruits. Well, I didn't get quite where I wanted to be. I've got 60 of the 90 planted, and I've had enough now. I'm fed up with it. Saying that, we did get the strawberry bed weeded, and that looks much better. So weather permitting tomorrow, join me back out on the plot and we'll get the rest done. Well, good morning. As you can see, I put a temporary cover over last night just to protect it from the fox from undoing all my hard work. Just after I put this on, we had a torrential downpour, probably for about 15 minutes, and I reckon it really did the plants good. They've really perked up. I've still got another 30 to put in, but it's raining at the moment. I think we've got another dry slot for about 3 hours. So once that happens, I'll be planting out, and next time we come back, I'll definitely be done. Well, I'm not quite finished, but I've actually run out of plants. I'm about 5 or 6 short. It actually took longer than I thought it was, but I think I've got 84 in at the moment, and I may fill them up a little bit later on. But in the meantime, I'll just take you through what we've actually planted. So that's the bed as it is. Rather than me trying to pick out individual groups of plants, I'll put a list along the bottom with the different types, varieties, and also how many of each we've planted out. So all that's left to do now with this is to set up the framework and put the protective net on, because I noticed there's a few butterflies around since the sun's come out. So that there is my crop of asparagus for this year. Although it may look a lot, believe it or not, there's probably around about 30 plants gone into that bed over the 2 sessions, and most of them have been destroyed by the mole infestation we had. I may or may not try one more planting using a raised bed, but if not, I'll just use it for flowers. Anyway, that's about it for this one. Many thanks for watching. But before I go, we're now approaching the garden season, and the 11th to the 14th of May sees the Malvern Spring Festival. A really good show. Everything's nice and fresh there, and some good plant merchants. If you're there, I'll probably be around Sunday. Come and say hello if you spot me. Until then, many thanks for watching. See you later. Bye for now.